And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I'm Michael DeLon. Today, I am talking with longtime friend, co-worker, and marketer extraordinaire, Travis Lee. Travis, thanks for being here, man.
Michael, thanks for having me back. It's great to see you. Great to speak with you again. Let's get some knowledge on these folks.
That sounds great. That sounds great. So if you've been around my world at all, you've heard of Travis. 3D mailresults.com is his business. He has been an anchor in my life for a lot of reasons. We've done podcast things, but he's back on because we want to talk about powerful, impactful client acquisition through direct mail that's different than probably anything you've ever thought about if you've not been around my world. So we're going to dive into that. Travis, give us a snapshot. First of all, how did you get into this world of direct mail?
You know, it's funny. So when I was younger, I'm not so young anymore. I got some gray now. People ask, how does this young guy get into direct mail? And that now they just get to, how did you get into direct mail? Because I'm not quite the young guy anymore. And so it actually goes back. My father owned a business for many, many years. A retail supply company, wholesale distribution business, right? So it was everything a retail store needs to operate, everything but their inventory, right? So bags and boxes and bows and garment racks and shelving and all the stuff that, you know, if you pull a tag off of a shirt when you buy it and dump it, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. So that's kind of the 30,000 foot view of what he did. Not important for this story. What is important is that he used all kinds of fun, different, unique direct mail to grow that business. And this was a business at the time when he started. He was a sales rep, then he became general manager, and then the owner gave him equity. So he kind of worked his way up. And so we're talking late 80s, early 90s. And all of his competitors had what we'll call foot soldiers. So sales reps pounding pavement, knocking on doors, walking up and down the street with a suit and a briefcase and knocking on retail stores and saying, hey, I can sell you this, that, and the other. And that was how you sold these types of products. Right. Late 80s, early 90s. That was just the industry norm. You couldn't sell this without a face-to-face interaction is what everyone did. And he said, you know what? That may be true, but I don't know that that's true. So he goes and meets this guy named Dan Kennedy, who I know, obviously, a shared mentor of ours. And he spoke about the praises of direct mail, of how you could augment salespeople, you could eliminate salespeople, but basically you could multiply salespeople. So you could take one letter, and instead of one guy, if he's good, knocking on 100 doors a day, you could send out one letter and knock on 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 doors a day if you could afford it. Right. And so he started sending out direct mail with this business, and it worked. And all of a sudden, he didn't have as many people out on the road. So he now had, you know, inside salespeople. So now they were inside the walls, and he would send out this direct mail. And, you know, it started off as number 10 envelopes. My mom probably wrote 100,000 envelopes when I was growing up in school, right? Handwritten with that fancy, you know, real nice cursive handwriting and a live stamp. And so he became a giant student of direct mail. It became, you know, like I said, it didn't eliminate the sales team, but it enhanced everything that they did. And now we didn't have travel costs and gas and this, that. So fast forward slightly. Now we get to the point where, all right, we've got to up it a little bit, right? So now people have seen this letter. We can only go to the well so many times. So what else can we send out, right? So we've got other unique stuff. And I'll get to some of this. You know, we didn't necessarily send this out at the time, but now we send out little pill bottles because we're going to cure your headache. Or we're going to send out a little foot because we want to get our foot in the door. So we got into this kind of fun, unique, about this time is when I came to work for him. This would have been 2006-ish now. So now we're in the mid 2000s, and we're looking around and we're sending all this new and unique direct mail. And people started coming to us and saying, where are you getting these ideas? Where are you finding them? What are you doing? And we tell them, you know what? We go to the dollar store. We walk up and down the aisle until we find inspiration. And then when we find inspiration, we ask them, can you get us 5,000 of these? Right? Because they'll have 100 out and we need 5,000. Yeah. And so that's what we were telling people. Well, the reason I told you we started as a wholesale distribution business is the light bulb finally went on, and we said, well, why don't we just wholesale distribution this stuff as well, right? So we had, big warehouse. We had ordering systems. We had shipping systems. It didn't matter if I was shipping out wrapping paper or shelving or boxes or little squishy feet. What difference does it make, right? That Amazon before Amazon, essentially, right?
That's
Amazon
right,
did books,
exactly.
and then they said, well, if we can do books, we can do this, 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 this. And so obviously not as big as Amazon, but now we said, okay, well, now we can do this. We can sell this stuff as well. We can quit referring them. And we actually went to a mastermind meeting, which is I love getting with other smart business owners. It is for a lot of different reasons. It gets you out of your day to day. It gets you in. It gets you kind of, gets you out of that schedule where you're just working, and it gives you some great insight. And so we were at a mastermind group, and we went to the group and we said, we're thinking about starting this business, and we're going to have these squishy feet. We're going to have pill bottles. We're going to have bank bags. We're going to have little boomerangs. And I will get into some of this later. And they said, if you don't start this business, we will. so now we're probably 2008-ish, 2009-ish. And lo and behold, we're bringing in 5,000 of this and 50,000 of this. And it just grew from there. And we started off as a distributor of this stuff. All right, we'll send you 5,000 of this or 50 of this. And then, well, now we need to grow this division. Well, why don't we get into the printing and the fulfillment? And now let's get into the mailing lists. And now let's get into some of the digital side of things, which I'm sure we'll talk about as we move on.
Absolutely.
And now it's become where we are maybe not a full-scale direct mail agency, but we do a lot of agency work. We do creatives, we do mailing lists, all the way to the point of taking it to the post office and dropping it off for you. And hopefully same thing happens to you. You can get all those calls incoming to you without having to go out and hunt them down. That's the goal of direct mail.
That's a great story. And I learned a few things in that story. And I love how you did it, because it is direct mail, but too many times when we think direct mail, we think what's in our mailbox every day, the 3 or 4 pieces there, the number 10 envelope, the standard boring stuff. And you guys have amplified that by sending boomerangs or pill bottles. And these are things that actually get mailed like that. So you open up your mailbox and there's a foot there or a boomerang, and it has a letter attached to it or something, or the
bank bag. I know you've used these. I've sent them to you. So this shows up in their mailbox. Yeah. So I actually true story, just 5 to 8 days ago, have a guy who's in the he's in the decking and siding business, right? So he does Trex deck, and you can get your posts and your decking and your glass, right? So you want to put a new deck on your home, he'll do that for you. Well, he works through distributors for the most part. Okay. So he sent out one of these guys. He sent out, I don't know, 600 of them. Okay. Got one order for $50,000 a week later. There you go. Now, is that the norm? Yeah, not really, but it's also not unnormal. It's not uncommon, right? So, so this is the kind of stuff we're talking about, sending different, unique stuff. Well, and it's funny because as I talk to my clients and my prospects and my audience, I always talk about, how are you showing up? Yeah. Right. And that's really what you help business owners do, is to show up differently, to capture the attention of an audience in a unique way. They open up that mailbag or whatever, and it's a fun, engaging, personality-driven letter that gets them to take that next step of book a call or go to my website and download something or take whatever that next step is, right? So it's not a one-time thing. It's you help business owners understand the sequential nature. So you've got some things that are 2, 3, 4, 5, depends on what that business owner needs, right? But it shows up in your mailbox totally different. If you get a bank bag in the mail, are you going to open it? I think so. Yeah. So that's what we tell people is, and I learned this from our shared mentor, Dan Kennedy. He said, everyone talks about response rate, which is important, more important ROI, return on your investment. We'll kind of put that over here for a second, but they always talk about response rate. Oh, I got a 2% response rate. I got a 5% response rate. And he always taught us that, well, that's your response rate if we assume 50% of the people opened it, 20% of the people opened it, 70, right? So you've got this wide range of people who, it's said that 50% of mail goes into the recycle bin unopened and not looked at. Yep. So let's just start with that baseline. So now you had a 2% response rate when only 50% of your audience even saw it or looked at it. What would your response rate be if we could get that number to 90, 95, 99, 100%, right? Yeah. It's why Super Bowl commercials are so expensive. half the audience watches them just for the commercials.
Yeah,
So now
exactly.
they're so expensive because you're guaranteed attention. Obviously it's the biggest television event we have here in the United States. There's a lot of them that are really close, but
Yeah.
they don't get nearly the amount of money because you're just not guaranteed people to watch it. So now juxtapose that against your direct mail. If we can get 100% of the people to actually look at it and read it, what ability do we have to increase that response rate? Can we get it from a 1% to a 5%? Can we get it from a 0.5% to 2%? And those may seem like small numbers, but for most of us in direct mail, those can be huge numbers as you look at your lifetime value of customers down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I love about direct mail, Travis, is it's personal. And Dan Kennedy always talks about marketing in a vacuum. When I'm doing direct mail, my competitor doesn't see it.
Yeah.
They can't mimic it, right? And so it goes right to my audience in a very unique way. And I love, your website's 3dmailresults.com, because that's what it is. It's 3D items of a variety of nature. I mean, you mentioned foot soldiers with your dad. I think you actually have Army foot soldiers. You have Army men.
I didn't bring one of them, but we've sent little Army. So, protect your assets like a well-oiled army, right? Or, all kinds of stuff. You're really only limited by your imagination.
Well, and that's the cool thing, Travis, is many business owners don't have one of those.
Yeah.
Imagination. So you've done it. You've taken it to the next level where you've got all these fun items, but then you also have templated sales letters. You've got a company that can help them do it with them, do it for them, so that you take all of the work out of marketing through direct mail. Now, and it's incredibly powerful. Here's one of my questions, though. In today's day and age, right? Direct mail seems really old-fashioned, even though we know it works really well. You've got this whole social media thing going on and all that. How do you address that when somebody says, "Well, I'm either going to do direct mail or I'm thinking about doing a Facebook ad or whatever it is"?
Yeah.
How do you help them with something like that? Because I know that's got to be coming up.
And that's a big question, right? So we've seen, first off, the first thing I'll say is, if everyone's running one way, you should at least peek back and say, is this really the way we should be running? Right.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Over the, COVID exacerbated it, but, you started looking around 2012, 2015 is when everyone started running digital. So the social media platforms took off. Google pay-per-click, which I don't even know what they call it. Google ads, I think is what they call it now. Right. But in any case, you just saw your cost per impression inch up, your cost per click inch up. And you actually saw less competition in the mailbox.
Yeah.
Well, now, fast forward to 2023, we have the ability now to take your same mailing list and still send fun stuff like pill bottles or a foot. What else? Even these, we have these, and I know I think I've mailed these for you, Mike.
Yep.
We have these fake express envelopes that look like a FedEx or a DHL, but they are, again, when this shows up in your mailbox, who's not going to open it? So you can still send this fun stuff. And so now it's become not an either or, because we can send this fun stuff. Then we can take your mailing list and we can serve ads to them on social media. We can serve ads to them on Google Display Network. When they hit your website, we can run retargeting ads for them. If they call a phone number, we can track it, record it, know how many phone calls they get. If you send a text, we can track that and we can send we can have dialogue back and forth. And so now what's really cool is it's not become an either or. It's become let's do it together. Right. So we take that same mailing list. Let's say I'm a dentist and I want to target new movers in my area and I want to send them something fun like this. We take that same list, we mail it. At the same time that we mail it, we start serving ads on all of those digital platforms. And then we have the way to track it. So now direct mail was always pretty, and it's still not perfect, but it was always hard to track. Yes. You needed to have tracking phone numbers, and that's part of it. Maybe you'd have Brenda answering the phones and she'd do little hash marks, right? Okay, we got one call from this and one call for this. Well, we've essentially brought direct mail into the 21st century, and we've married all the good stuff that we like about digital, the accountability, the quickness, right? I mean, we can literally just put it out there and it's there for all the world to see. But it's overlooked, right? It's saturated. And so now we've taken the ability to send something exactly like this, or any one of the 50 products that we have, and the thousands more that we could get if people say, hey, I want this, we can usually go find it. And now you get that high impact, tactical, analog in the mail. They can feel it, they can touch it, they can maybe even smell the ink on it still, right?
Oh,
but now they start seeing you online, and now they start showing up in your Facebook feed, or they start showing up in the Google Display Network. And we've all seen that, right? You go to a website, and then you go to any other website, and now Disney's following you all around, or Nike's following you all around. And so we have this ability now to marry the two. And it's not so much either or, it's what can we do together? And now 2 + 2 equals something more than 4, because we've taken all the things that we have and boosted them by using them all together instead of having silos of things going on all at once.
Man, that's amazing, Travis. I don't honestly know anybody else who's doing it like that, because direct mail is like the stepchild over here that nobody wants to talk about, because nobody understands it like Dan Kennedy and you. And it's how do you merge this? Because especially, I went to my mailbox yesterday, I pulled out 3 things. That was it in my mailbox. I'm always thinking, how do you show up there? Because that envelope, for whether you're B2C or B2B, it doesn't matter. If you're trying to reach a CEO or a decision maker, great direct mail will get there, I assure you. But now Travis is bouncing that with and adding to it the online presence.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a 1-2 punch that is going to really, really help business owners, because you're also dealing with one company versus them going, I'm going to work with you direct mail. So talk about, from a business owner's perspective, the efficiencies and the congruency of message and all that when they're working with you.
Yeah, that's a great question, because we had clients that would do that. They'd get a list, and then we'd go and mail it. And then they'd take it to Facebook expert over here, and they'd create a custom audience or a lookalike audience, or, all this other stuff they could do. And the messages weren't necessarily the same. We had our creatives, they had their creatives, and they weren't necessarily, the good ones made a mesh, but they were responsible for that on their own. They had to, okay, here's the direct mail piece. Now I got to go over here and coach up my social guy that, hey, this is the piece that's going out, and it's got to kind of look and feel the same. So we're getting some brand recognition, and they're not, the light bulb's going on. Okay. Same thing, right? Same thing in the mail, same thing over here, right? And the ability now to have that same consistent message going out.
Yeah.
The same, even if let's just say you send out a postcard, right? Even if it's nothing fun. Well, now that same postcard, it's red, white, and blue. Well, now the same ad is red, white, and blue. And if you're a dentist and it's got your picture on it, the same ad online is red, white, and blue and has your picture on it. Yeah. And then they go to your website and it's red, white, and blue and it has your picture on it. And so you're able to pool all these things together, and again, make them more than the sum of their parts. And it's an old marketing adage. No one acts until they've seen or heard your message 8 times. It's probably more like 15 or 16 or 20 or 25 now, right? And so now you can take that direct mail piece, which does the bulk of the heavy lifting,
right,
and then augment it with this other stuff, the social, the Google display, the retargeting. And now they're getting that repeated messaging. They're seeing you over and over again. And you look like now you've got the Nike budget or the Disney budget or whatever budget, and you're just you. You can just be a dentist, and you can do that now.
Yeah. And that's beautiful right there, because you don't have the money, small business owner, to reach everybody. Mm-hmm. But what you can do as a dentist or whatever is target a certain area. And now Travis can help you target them in their mailbox and online with a consistent message over time. And you end up being the Disney in their mind, owning them, their friends, their neighbors, their relatives, their business owners, all the referrals you're going to get from them. Take your money, pour it into that smaller pond, and do it with Travis with great 3D mail that's powerful and online presence that all connect with a clear message. Man, you start putting that together, it's rocket fuel for your marketing, and it simplifies your marketing, really. because you're doing
Oh, yeah.
really one company and a consistency of your message. So helping small business owners really gain more clients is, at the end of the day, that's what you help them do, right?
Absolutely. And not only can it work for going out and getting new customers, new patients, new members, new customers, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
Now let's say you've got a new product or new service and you want to get that message out to your 5,000 existing clients, your 100,000 existing clients, your 5 existing clients.
Yeah.
Now you can do that stuff as well. So when you know, as your business matures and now, okay, we all know it's easier to sell to somebody who's already bought from us. Like that's just marketing 101. You know, if they bought from us twice, that tells me they're twice as more likely to buy from us than if they bought us once, right? I mean, I'm no math major, but I can figure that out. So now we can go and we can send them, we can tell them about a new product or service, and we can do it in a way where we send emails, we do phone calls, we send direct mail, you run these digital ads. Yeah. And now, you know, in addition to getting new customers, patients, members, whatever it is, getting your message out to your existing folks just becomes that much easier because you can touch them wherever they want to be there, right? If they want to be touched in their inbox, you're there. They want to be touched in their social feeds, you're there. They want tactical mail, you're there. So it more than just you know, cold growth, it can be used within your little ecosphere, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really cool. Cause I just had this thought. If you go to marketing agencies extraordinary all over, wherever, it doesn't matter. You go to what they do, whether they're working with dentists or attorneys or financial advisors, it's all digital. All digital. A, they never have books. They don't do books. And B, they don't do direct mail.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand it. Travis, 3D Mail Results, you guys understand the power of reaching people through direct mail. Really cool direct mail.
Yeah. Clear
message. And now you're adding to that the online presence to the same audience. Listen to that. The same audience that you're sending direct mail to, they're going to see you online. So it's a targeted approach with a clear message. Unbelievable. I'm so glad, Travis, that you came back on my podcast. Because this
one of your first guests too. I think we were talking about like episode 5 or something like that.
Yeah, you were way early. But the cool thing is not a lot has changed, except you're iterating, you're helping your clients, small business owners, reach their target audience more effectively now with a combination of a both and approach of direct mail and online presence, which is just a powerhouse. So, and I know you've got a book that talks a lot about this. And where do people find you? How do they get a copy of your book? How do they find out more about you and what you do?
Yep. So I drink from the same fountain as Michael. I love a good book. I market my books. I get them myself. So the best place to get this is to go to book.3dmailresults.com. So I'll spell that for you because it's a little wordy. book.3mailresults.com. You can get a free copy of my book, just cover about $2 or $3 in shipping. So you can go to get the book there. For the digital stuff, right? So now we're kind of marrying the two. Yeah. Go to thefutureofdirectmail.com and you'll see a little 10-minute video there. It goes way more into depth. It kind of gets into the nuts and bolts of this, how it actually works. As a business owner, you just need to know it does work. And so I'm going to turn my direct mail piece from a one-time shot into like 8 or 10 or 12 impressions. That's what we're looking to do. We're looking to multiply you over a bunch of different media platforms.
I love it. I'm going to have both of those domains in the show notes. Perfect. So if you're exercising, you're driving, whatever, it's in the show notes. You're going to want to do this. So Travis Lee at 3D Mail Results, or go book.3dmailresults.com to get a free copy of his book. Yep. And then I love thefutureofdirectmail.com. Dude, we could talk all day about domain names and clarity of domain names. That one's great. Well done on that.
Could you believe that one was available?
No. When you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh. But
who knew?
Yeah, because direct mail's dead, right? Good God.
Exactly.
It is alive and kicking. And if you really want to find ways to engage with new audiences, get new clients, breathe life into your current database, talk to them about new products, get referrals, you name it. This will work for you. Reach out to Travis, get a copy of his book, have a conversation with him, say, here's what I'm trying to do. Does it make sense? How would I do this? Because Travis has forgotten more about direct mailing engagement than people ever know. He's brilliant. Go talk with him. Travis, man, this has been so fun. I'm glad that you came back on. I'm glad that you shared again with my audience about 3D mail results, man.
Well, thanks for the invite. It's always great talking. Let's do it again in another couple hundred episodes.
I absolutely love to. Take care, my friend.
Thank you, Michael.